Remember, we want you to be an activist and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley.
Who and what are we gonna complain about tonight?
You was numb all over, not just in the teeth area.
Oh yeah, body now.
Yeah. So, anyways, the name of the show is "You Are Next," and it's. I'm talking about the Supreme Court decision with the abortions. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah, man. It's like I gotta say, I told you so, because that's what I said was coming. And like, man, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised they leaked those documents. The draft opinion about it. So that was like preparing everybody for what's coming down the pipe.
Well, I mean, but I guess my question is, I mean, is it really the majority of people that want that, or is it just a select group that is really want that? Because I mean, looks like there was a lot of people that was happy that it happened, that it passed, because it's like, that I mean, probably just as many people out there that are, pro-lifers than there are those that are pro-choicers.
Well, it's just one of those topics that's so divisive, you know. And I think that's the whole real point of it. And yeah, I think there's a lot of people on both sides, but I would say that most people aren't educated on the topic really. And then you've got the thing about what is it? Freedom of privacy, right? That's tied up in this. That's what they were saying. They were saying that the woman has the right to privacy, and they use that to grow into the abortion. You get what I'm saying? So when you backtrack the abortion, then now you're going back into the argument of the case originally of privacy rights. And
Well,
like I say, I don't think that people don't really understand how this, they don't really know, and so like, okay, so like if we the more the least our you agree that we should have privacy rights, right? Like a
well,
certain
well,
level of
well,
privacy.
I do, but I mean, how do you really enjoy privacy? I mean, do you share all your information with people and expect that they don't say something?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that people share all their information about getting an abortion with other people.
Well, I mean, but you're still sharing it with some major players that if it really came down to it, it just like they're not gonna, you know, just be like, oh well, that's Susie, and I'm gonna make sure hers doesn't get out. But you know what, Julie, we'll just let her stuff. No, I mean they don't like. I wish people understood more or realized more that these people don't care.
At all.
I mean, regardless. I mean, you talking about privacy. I mean, you've given up probably all of your rights for privacy already just through social media. So I mean, you're talking about privacy. At what level?
Well, it's definitely that's definitely a complicated topic right there. Um, and I didn't come on last night because it would have been too late. And the night before they blocked the show, I accidentally showed a clip from HBO. I didn't know it was on Instagram, but that show was really great, y'all. It was great, and I'm gonna make clips of it and post it. Um, I talked about Patrice Lumumba, and we went over his history. We played his speech, that commencement speech, in his native in the language that he spoke it in,
Hmm.
and it was touching. And one of the things that he said that still lingers in my mind from that show is that he said, "Y'all didn't give this to us. You know what I'm saying? We took it. We made this happen. You know what I'm saying? We're not asking y'all for nothing." He's like, "We're equals. We're peers." And those lines I think are the ones that got him killed, man. They're like people don't they don't certain segment of society just has to feel like they are bigger, better than others. You know what I mean? Anytime someone makes them feel like they're on level playing with feel with them, they have a real problem with it.
Well, I mean, deceit and evil does that. I mean, when you're like, I mean, when you want to be, like the whole idea for you is being number one, which I mean nobody is, but I mean when you think it in your mind, you believe something so crazy. I mean, yeah, I mean that leads to other insane ideas. Like you're,
That's what I
you know,
that's what I hate about religion because that's what I feel like it creates a fertile when it just like the fairy tales we tell our children when they're little. Like all of this stuff, Santa Claus, all of this creates a fertile freaking ground for, this really insanity to grow.
yeah. No, it really does. I mean, I've dealt with it. I'm sure most of us have dealt with it firsthand. But there's there's a certain religion that I have family that's members of, and they swear that they are better than even the people that share the same blood as them because of you know a book. I mean, oh, we got more books in our Bible than you guys.
And because it's more number, that means it's greater and better.
Mm. I don't, bro. It's really insane that the way people believe, and n not to realize what religion is in the first place. I mean, what it's supposed to do, it doesn't do. It separates most people. But you know,
And maybe that is the point of the organized religions. And that's the
well,
reason why I don't like to subscribe to one or the other. I don't like to say that I'm subscribed because then that's where, one of the things that I find myself doing that I still kind of do to this day, but I be trying not to do is like like I like Muslims, I like Christians. I can't lie, and so but like you have different greetings that you do with religious people. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can see it when you look at them, or you just feel the energy off of them, or whatever, and you greet them in that way, and then they greet you back, and it's but so then it's like and then y'all call each other brothers and stuff like that, which is all of this is cool. Except the problem that I have with it is that okay, now we feel like this guy is more important than the other people that's around him. You know what I mean? Because
no,
I connect with him with this religion or whatever. So he's more important to me than the other people around.
no. I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't know what it is for everybody else. I mean, for me, it's no difference. Like, I mean, I really don't care, if you're religious or not. If you, seem to be a real person, because my religion is realism. If you real, at least to yourself and the friendship that we have or the association that we have, shit. I mean, you cool with me, but for, whether it's the assalamu alaikum or well, any of that, yeah, it's a cool thing to do. I like that exchange, but I don't really have anything special for anybody else. So I mean, but I don't think it would necessarily puts them up on a pedestal because of that. You know what I'm saying? That's just, our way of, it's the what's up, what's up, fool? What up, Nick? You know, but either way, it's I don't know. I don't really put anybody on a higher pedestal because I mean, I've seen both sides have good, great people. I've seen both sides that had some horrible people. So,
Um, I got some videos on this. I don't know if I want to play Joe Biden talking about it because it's gonna make y'all want to vomit. So
Yeah,
he,
he already, yeah.
And we have reaction.
yeah, when I was I couldn't watch much. I didn't make it very far in the clip. Yeah,
Well, I mean, he's a puppet, bro. It don't matter what he has to say.
it's
It,
just
it
so embarrassing, man. It's so sad, and it's that like you be saying, it goes through my mind every time I see him talk. Like you said, it's senior citizen abuse. What they doing to him? Like I said, he don't even really. Everybody can see he don't really want to be out there. Like Joe, go out there. He's like, I gotta go out there again. What I'm
it
supposed to say?
but I mean
Shit.
and then like earlier today I was watching some news. You know, I've been hanging with my mom for the past 2 weeks pretty much. But you know, watching the news and stuff. Her, but I don't seen a few times this dude fall over on a bike. I'm like, man, like this is horrible, bro. Like, how did we end up here? And that, like, they act as if he's the one that's really making, you know, these judgment calls of what's happening around the world.
And I
But
think it's a show, and it's so embarrassing. That's what I mean. And then good cop, bad cop, and the whole thing with the Roe versus Wade getting overturned. Really, it was those Trump appointees that made this happen. But they've been working on this for a long ass time. But I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was saying, they put the last pieces in
well,
place
well, honestly,
when Trump was president.
I think this really says to me a lot of that. You know, really how much the federal government has no power. Like, I mean,
It's
I have to.
illegitimate. That's what I've been thinking about the Supreme Court because you remember what happened when Obama, what was it, Merrick Garland, I want to say, he nominated for the Supreme Court because somebody, what they happened, they stepped down, they retired. I don't remember what happened. They died. I don't know because usually that's the only ways they go. So yeah, so Obama appointed this person, and they blocked the nomination for a whole year, talking about the election is coming. So as a result of this, Trump ended up with three appointees. Okay, and
Hmm.
this was enough to push the whole court in a certain direction. Three appointees. That's a
Hmm.
lot. They're gonna stay in there forever. They don't. They're gonna die. That's the only way they're leaving, bro.
Man, say, bro, look, if you don't think that all that stuff is like, I mean, 'cause, like, the more I look at it, the more I see that this, like, you know, I mean, there's no science really. Like, the higher you get in politics, there's really no science. There's just that there's people that's in office that they can blame, you know, blame things on, or just say,
Right.
oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, oh,
That's
well,
how
it
it
was.
works. It's good cop, bad cop, and so it's like, oh, Trump, Biden is so inept and so incapable, and that's the reason why things are the way that they are, or
Well, no, but
whatever.
that's, I mean, but it's easy to blame Trump when, you know, okay, all right, so you're pretty much saying that Obama was too weak to go on and get his stuff done. That, I mean, that's kind
and,
of what
and
they're
I don't
saying.
believe it.
Like,
And I don't
he,
believe it either. So that means that's an evidence of them working together in collusion for things to be the way that they are now, because they aren't the ones that's really pulling the strings. It's other private interests. You know what I'm saying? The powers that be have driving things in the direction that they want things to go in, and they got puppets on both sides of the fucking aisle for each different segment of society to subscribe to. And meanwhile, they still getting done whatever the fuck they want to get done while we all fighting about stupid shit.
hmm yeah, I mean, shoot, winter's coming.
And the pinch is in. Let me play this.
Now from our local leaders here, Governor Steve Sisolak releasing a lengthy statement saying in part, quote, "This decision is devastating for tens of thousands of Nevada women, but it's exactly what my opponent wanted." Now, he's referring to Joe Lombardo, who is running for governor against Sisolak. Now, the statement goes on to say, quote, "I have been unwavering in my commitment to protecting the right to an abortion. And in Carson City, we've made progress expanding access to reproductive freedom and to critical contraceptives." Our newsroom reached out to Joe Lombardo's campaign. Right now, we're waiting to get a response on that. And new into our newsroom, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto also releasing a statement. In a tweet, she called this a devastating day for women in America. The senator continues by saying, quote, "I'm standing with a majority of Nevadans and Americans more determined than ever to fight for a woman's right to choose." Our newsroom also reached out to Nevada Republican U.S. Senate candidate Alan Laxalt for a reaction. Laxalt releasing a statement calling this a victory for life, also saying the Supreme Court was never qualified to rule on abortion laws. He also says, quote, "After more than 50 years, that responsibility is poised to finally return to its rightful owners, the American people and their elected representatives. The people of Nevada have already voted to make abortion rights legal in our state, and the court's decision on Roe does not change settled law, and it won't distract voters from unaffordable prices, rising crime, or the border crisis." Also in our city, we get visitors from all over the country. Lots of tourists come here in town, so we have reaction now. I'm going to head out to anchor Rachel Moore, joining us live from the Strip with reaction on both sides of this issue. Rachel?
Kalina, I spoke to several women who are, many of whom are from trigger law states, and they gave me a mixed reactions. A lot of people did not want to go on camera. Obviously, this is a very sensitive subject, but it's also a very emotional one, too. Take a listen.
I just think it's a travesty. It's horrible, nothing else. Well, it's just terrible. It's taking away women's rights that, Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought so hard for, and it's really upsetting. So
I think it's still a woman has a right if she doesn't want to have the child to go wherever she wants to have the abortion. But I think it's the right thing to put it back to the state.
I'm a teacher and I teach girls, and we do all these things to empower them to take control of their lives. And yeah, it pisses me off.
And we have reaction now from.
Yeah, what you got to say? What
Well,
say you?
to me, I think that, they were going too far with the whole my right, my choice, this, that, and the other, because like if you remember, like within the last few years, this is the thing that they've been fighting for was to be able to have an abortion all the way up to the moment of birth, which
I don't know.
is
I don't know about that.
no, well, you missed it because this has been a conversation for the last few years. This is probably for the last decade. But this is something that's been going on, and that's where I believe the pro-lifers just was like, I mean, we I think that's really what they had an edge, because it was just like, it just wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? They never satisfied with the amount of, what they were given or allowed to do. And now you done lost it all, because now you want to, be able to decide. You have your choice, like go full term, 9 months, and the day before it's born, just decide to abort. Like, come on, bro. Like, I mean, you have no respect for science to say that, like, now at 9 months it's still not abort.
They don't do that anywhere. You can't have no abortion at no freaking 9 months. Nowhere.
No,
Can't
you
do
could
that.
no, but that's what they were fighting for. That's what they wanted.
Okay. Let me read some comments underneath the video right here. This one says, "I'm confused. If the majority of Americans are for abortion, then there is no need to worry. State elections will settle the issue in each state. Why all the worry? Or does the majority of Americans really favor abortion? Surely you can trust the polls produced by the mainstream media, can't you?" Well, what I would say back to this comment is that, do our representatives really represent us? Which side are you on? I bet you don't like Nancy Pelosi, or either that, or you don't
No,
like
sure.
I don't know, whatever name on the other side, Mitch McConnell. You know what I'm saying? One of them two you
I don't
hate.
like him. I don't like either one of them.
So what I'm saying is, are those your representatives? So it's like you're saying, the politicians, the way our system works, is just going to be like what everybody wants in each state. That's what they're going to get. I live in Texas. I bet you that a lot of people in Texas are not are
Pro that
pro-choice,
no,
and
I bet you no. I think the majority is pro life.
well, I would say that there's a whole lot that's pro-choice. You know what I'm saying? So then here goes the argument of the where they talk about mob rule. So when it's like basic democratic rule, like if it's 51-50, you know what I'm saying? So then the 51s
51,
win
49.
40, 51-49, and the 51 wins, and those are the pro-life, pro-life
No, I
people.
think no, I think it's just like when it comes to like when we talk about LGBT. Nobody wants to really offend those people, but most people just kind of like, look, I mean, y'all just do what y'all doing over there. Don't do it here. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, they try to, being politically correct instead of telling you you're stupid or like just buckle down and don't get pregnant if you don't. You know what I'm saying? Instead of telling somebody, don't be so childish and look, just be responsible with your life and what you do with your organs, your sex organs. Instead of telling them that, it's just like, okay, yeah, well, I mean, I do believe you should have a choice. Like that's really what it's come down to, is that they don't want to offend anybody.
No, I think it's all about control. Let me read some
No,
more
it's
comments.
not about control. Like, I mean, the whole thing about control is really how they're trying to use people. Like, okay, it's easier to use, like birth control and this, like for the important things. Like, I mean, if it was really like, because I mean, my thing, like, there's some issues with this whole, the way everything is playing out, because I think that people who get raped or gets pregnant due to incest or something like that, they should have some protections for that. But and of course, like, I mean, I think they do have the protections so that if you're in surgery or something's going on, for towards your life, life change, like if life or death decision, they can have the abortion or something happen like that. But to me, it's really a fight that, you know if it was nothing wrong with it in the beginning, like there shouldn't have been anything to fight. Like before there was no right for abortion. What was it?
It was women getting abortions,
It was
probably
just
more safely.
okay. m- what you mean more safely? Like it was probably unsafe, and then it's like, okay, these women are doing it. Okay, so we need to figure out a way that for them to be able to do it.
Because that's what it's about. It's about the women's health. Let me read some more comments. It says, now let's see what Sisalix does. This decision has left up to the states. How does it affect tens of thousands of women if he himself can say it's legal in the state of Nevada? So yeah, so you're going to have women moving around from state to state. Another thing this really affects is people who don't have income, poorer people. They're not going to be able to go to another state to go get an abortion. So that's restricting people. Let me read some more. It says, it's not like we just recently discovered how pregnancy happens. The choice gets made before the child does. Don't want to get pregnant. Don't engage in activity that causes pregnancy.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I mean, like it's acting as if humans are just like, like, are we really just animals and we can't like make decisions that's good for us?
Well, we can. So why do we need some person to come tell us what we can't do with our bodies?
Because you're proving, like, with us having this whole argument proves that, like, there's a group of people who can't, like, like they're not gonna choose, like they're not choosing to. 'Cause I mean, if there's like
So then other
however many
people
million,
should make the decisions for them.
well, that's what it's come to. I mean, that's kind of what y'all pay y'all government to do.
And I hate that shit. Let me read some more. It says Nevada already has laws that allow women to choose, just a political show. Another one, it says the First Amendment provides that Congress makes no law respecting an establishment of religion. How does that relate? Because of the, I'm gonna move on. It's next comment. It says a devastating day for women in America. Who is devastated about accepting responsibility for your own actions?
What about men not for the last 50 years not having a choice? Nobody cares about like you know what I'm saying. Like when it comes down to it, like all right, what about the men?
Well, but the
And
men don't have no baby growing inside of them, bro.
yeah, but men still, but okay, but somebody decided to have the act with the man, and then all of a sudden, oh well, you know, you know, they have all the right to decide if they're gonna have a child. If the man wants a child, then like he can't do anything.
And
You
that's not right either. And the men should be involved in these decisions, especially if that's their child. So yeah, that's fucked up too. But pointing at something that's fucked up, that's kind of like how the white people be like, okay, well look, white people be getting killed by the police too. It's like, okay, all right, that's
well,
fucked up
but
too.
well, see, but that and and I get that because guess what? That's true too. Just like the whole idea, like okay, like did maybe if the man was involved more, maybe there was, they didn't feel like they was outed so much, then maybe we wouldn't have an issue here. Maybe there would have been more of a resolve before if the man's rights weren't trampled on throughout everything and just like, oh well, my body, my choice. But yeah, but you decided to allow somebody else's body in yours, which allowed you or which made you get pregnant to begin with. So like, have you forgotten what we went through, what we did for you to even be pregnant? Like you was okay with that choice if you felt that part felt good, but now the whole idea of what it means to have a child, now you're just like, oh then you know what, screw you and this baby. Like maybe this would make women more responsible. Like they don't have to be as responsible with that Roe versus Wade, because they can just ruin the life of the father and the child.
There's a control. This is all about control. It's a huge economic issue with this because, like I said, with poor people, they're not going to be able to get the abortion. The people with the money will still, regardless. So, but the ones that are poor aren't going to be able to get it. They're going to be going to shady places and getting hurt and fucking themselves up.
Okay, well, look, it's been happening all this time. You think because they got to go to another state that if they really want it that they won't? Because I mean, they've been figuring it out all this time.
That's not going to work for a lot of the girls, women and girls, because they're not going to have the resources to do that. So they're going to be doing other shady ass shit. They're going to be doing
girls,
coke hangers.
You were kind of hesitant on saying women. So you're saying that this is mostly teenagers, like they're not adult
They're
old enough, they're not really old enough to make a decision like this on their own anyway.
They're going to be the ones most likely to making bad decisions related to this. Yes, they're going to be the main ones that's going to be affected by this. Yes, they're going to be the most likely one to stick a freaking hanger up in there and try to kill the baby on their own. Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can have a generation of young women, young girls that will decide differently because, hey, you know what? I don't have this as a crutch to lean on. I'm gonna have to actually, be with a guy that is gonna be there with
Pat.
me.
You was a teenager, right?
Sure was.
You ever got hot and heavy? Anything ever got crazy? Ever did some things that you probably shouldn't have?
No, I probably shouldn't have, but I did them, and I was taking responsibility either way. Like that's the thing. That's the difference. I'm not a little punk.
So, and then what does it do to this child's life having a baby, 15, 16 years old?
I mean, you mean like in the rest of the world, what people do? Like, because I mean, the age of having children is probably that age in most countries.
That's not a fair argument. So, but then, okay, so then we're gonna compare. We're
You're
talking
right,
about women.
but you're the one that's making that argument. So how you say
That's
you?
not a fair argument what you're making, because we're comparing them to women all around the world. Their circumstances are different. Like maybe it might, depending on where you are, it might behoove you to have 5 kids at
But
14.
why are their circumstances different? It's because that they look in America. You have a right to do things that other people around the world cannot. And when you have to deal with the world the same way as others, now what?
That's a disingenuous argument.
How? Because that's a hard argument for you to fight. That's
Sean,
why you said
No,
it's disingenuous.
because it's not it's not tangible. That's not a thing. Like all the women, we're putting all the women around the world on the same playing field in
They're
the argument of
wo-
abortion.
they're a woman, right?
Yes, they are.
That's equal. Comparing apples to apples is not a disingenuous
It is
argument.
when we're talking about economics. I was talking about economics. I was talking about how what would happen to a young person having a baby.
Yeah,
It's not
but
going to
no,
be the same in one country to the most of them other countries got freaking health care and shit. So it wouldn't
no,
even matter. They can have
no.
the baby. The government's going to pay for the child's freaking health care and living expenses in school and everything.
You're talking about like European countries. I'm talking about just the world because I mean, European countries is not realistic compared to the rest of the world.
Okay.
Like they look out for white people more than they do the rest of us.
Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley. All right, I'm gonna play some Biden